back to this final round of SL Chennai Speaks Out Season 2, the Margazhi season, commerce or culture. This is our final round called Public Punch.
Because of the commerce scene in the Carnatic music, the creativity is extremely curbed. People are enjoying the fruits of the seeds sown by great stalwarts in the past, and now the seeds are not, in turn, they are not again, people are not sowing the seeds like a payback.
The Carnatic music field is greater than the performing stage. First, let's get that clear. What they see is the performance. The ecosystem is being supported in many ways, through research, through helping young people in different villages try and get some sponsorship, through having festivals that are not targeted at just audiences. And this is being done by a plethora of artists in different ways. So I wouldn't call it sowing seeds. I'll say, in a way, it's a responsibility that artists are doing it. And let me tell you, they're doing it far more now than in the past generations. Let me say that very clearly. The past generations, they performed and went back home, had their lunch and dinner, had students around them. So this whole thing about sowing seeds for the ecosystem is something that's actually happening far more now than before. We love to live in nostalgia. That's why we keep saying about in the shorter version. What you can't do in 5 minutes, you can't do in 4 hours.
Culture is something that you take a lot out from. With regard to this form of art, we don't take anything out of it. It doesn't convey any meaning to us as such. Mahaganapati Manasas Marami, that song, a song for an example, it just conveys a prayer to Lord Ganesha. But we don't delve into, or we aren't able to understand what it means as such.
Because we live in this commercial, monetary, larger society, we are assuming that everything has to have a tangible return. Your immediate return from that performance might be intangible, but in the longer term, it will influence many, many finer aspects of who you are as a person. Because you are a multiple person, every human being is. You've got a physicality, you've got the spiritual side, you've got the emotional side, you've got the intellectual side, you've got the dumb side. The important thing about classical arts is that it evokes the better side of a human being. So you live in a society where instant gratification is what you are used to. Okay? Give yourself time. That's one. Because you've asked a deep question, I'll tell you something else deeper. I always say that markets only evoke tourists. Societies only evoke travelers, but civilizations evoke seekers.
Any art form has to thrive with some amount of encouragement, be it from commerce, be it from rasikas, because we all live in social spaces. And art cannot, to me, this divide between whether this is art or commerce, in itself, to me, sounds a little jarring, because I would see it as two dimensions of the same issue. And we have brought willy-nilly Carnatic music from confined spaces to open spaces, right? And all these artists who are standing here, they did not come here in the view of making money or making name. It was the art that drove them.
When the commerce happens, it happens on its own. Only some of us do think that we can take it as a full-time career. And that has to happen only when there is a
the young man
existence of something which...
The rate of the tickets, it's not suitable for common man, for like us.
100 rupees to 1000 rupees. 100 rupees?
100 rupees, it's okay, sir, but...
How much do you pay for a pizza?
Pizza, sir. I don't eat pizza, sir.
Okay, you don't eat out at all?
I eat out,
at
sir.
home when your mother cooks?
No, fair enough.
How much do you pay when you go to a restaurant?
Yes, sir. I pay up to 500.
500 rupees. And
yes,
so
sir.
You think that going for a concert is not even valued at 50%
no,
of
I didn't mean like that. I say, sir, it's suit for me. But the people who are behind our status, my status,
yeah?
they are only happy in watching in TV.
I believe that culture comes before commerce with regard to Indian classical dance and music. I would like to believe that Sabhas focus on quality of performance and audience satisfaction over commerce. And but I have an observation that it's commerce, it's more of commerce for the younger generation than the older generation.
Why do you say that?
Huh?
Why do you say that?
That's because I think for the younger generation to get the space on stage, they have to go through certain systems of the sabha, which are not suitable to the artists. I mean, we cannot afford as much. So I have a quick question as to what are sabhas doing to promote these young artists and nurture that talent and not let them go wasted so that, they just run out of money.
There are cases where the sabas have given slots absolutely free of cost. There are sabas which are doing it. Those sabas are actually supported by corporates. There are a lot of smaller sabas. Actually, again, the corporate system also works only in certain brands. It works in certain spheres where I can really put my brand, and that I do know that Sabha already has a good amount of credibility, and that will draw a sizable crowd or so. There are a lot of other Sabhas which are smaller Sabhas which are probably struggling, and that's where you have a problem. Again, there are isolated cases where you might have had cases where you've had to pay, but I think that's a system where if the corporate takes over or supports, or we have a more democratic system of handling it, I think it should.
Ganesh,
culture is a root. Culture is a root. But when you want to grow a tree, you put the seed as culture, and then you have to water it always, and it grows into a big tree, right? So you need the water as much as the seed. So what do you put more? You put water more than, and water more, and it grows automatically, isn't it? So the commerce, the aspect of is the water. So the more you put in, the culture will grow. The seed is the culture. Definitely we need that. That's the root on which we're all standing here and talking about.
Yeah, very briefly. Yeah.
I think there is one confusion that must not prevail. There is the non-profit side of the monetary economy. Then there is the for-profit, which is the commercialization. There is the mediating sector, which is called professionalism.
No, we're not talking about art and an empty stomach here.
No, I'm saying let's not. Money is being infused by another set of people who don't want to commercialize something, who know they cannot function completely without money. So we're trying to introduce the notion of professionalism, which is different from commercialism.
All right.
Let's not confuse that.
Fair enough, yes.
I want to say something that you had raised, which is, I think, important.
See, the Carnatic music scenario itself is a very popular form. Like in a Carnatic music concert, you just don't sit there and do an alap for 3 hours. It's not like that. Every concert has about 15 or 20 songs. That itself means a professional activity, and it's a commercial venture as such. No, you just minimize.
But sometimes you and your brother also stop and start singing also. I mean, is that?
It is all there to. It's a performance of it. That's the greatest. As Carnatic music, I see it as one popular form, one spiritual form. There are so many genres.
Performance is as old as the sea.
Yeah, it's got
people
nothing
have
to do
been
now.
performing forever.
For hundreds of
Yeah,
years.
even there has been a commercial activity.
Nobody said.
No.
When there is a
let me say this.
when there is a performance, it is a commercial activity. When you're doing it as a Nadopasana, that is a different activity altogether.
All right, okay.
When you're sitting and performing at home,
You and I
it's a
are
different
performing
activity.
now.
About the December season.
I'm not getting paid for this.
About the December season. Most musicians who are at some caliber today perform in December not because of the check they get from the Sabha. I can tell you the check we get from the Sabha is nothing compared to what we make through the year.
Sometimes there's also a negative balance because you end up spending more.
Hang on. I'm saying it's not commercial enough.
No.
I'm saying that it's because it's not commercial enough. That is why you are getting tips for what you're singing.
I'm not cribbing about this, okay?
No.
I'm just saying.
Just that.
But I'm just saying.
You wouldn't have said it.
No, the intent. No, I'm trying to show an intent. Just hang on.
No, it's not that.
No, it's not that. That's not your point. My point. One second. The intent is the intent of us performing is the fact that we celebrate this festival at what it is. The intent is because it's a mela. The intent is because it's a spirit. And that is what is driving this event. Secondly, Ganesh was talking about...
You call it a mela?
Yes.
Okay.
A cultural mela. Yes, it's exactly what it is. Now, Ganesh talked about performance. Ganesh himself and with his brother have brought in a lot of new kind of composition to instrumental music, which is not seen before. He has done it because of his art. He has done it because art is his driving force. He has done it because music is his driving force. And hang on. And he's presenting it in a concert because that's the platform for presentation. That is all. But the fact is his driving force is his spirit for art.
And this is a platform for them, yes.
Margazhi season helps us in preserving the culture to a large extent because people like us who work in the corporate world take time off to listen to a lot of concerts and understand and appreciate music much, much better. And to the point that one of our friends was making there, I think there are a lot of concerts in the morning which are actually, there are no charge. Sabhas don't charge you anything for that. And then great artists who have been Sangeeta Kalanidhis and such great artists come and perform. So we can actually listen to them and then get to know more about music. I think it's really a great opportunity that Chennai should be really proud about it.
I had a quick follow-up question. You said that the root is culture and then the water is the, the commercial aspect of it. What if it is the wrong water or the wrong...
Yeah, that is always there in every professional activity, every field it is there. But it's what we think as good money,
I've been into this season, listening to the season for about 25 years now. And I was in a transferable job, and every year I made it a point to be in Madras during this particular time, because I know all these concerts, very good concerts, happen only at this time. So I used to plan my year well ahead in September, October, and take time off to be here in Madras during December. It's not those commercial. I did not come here for buying CDs or for buying anything else from the lobbies of the auditoriums. I still do not know the name after which the halls are being named and all that. I still know the sabhas by Music Academy, by Krishnagana Sabha and all that. I do not know any sponsors, and I do not call and go, yeah, I'm going to this particular auditorium, so-and-so auditorium and all that. So it's that art that has been driving me towards listening to the Margazhi season.
That's a lovely, lovely comment to actually wrap a die-hard Rasika there. Thank you all for being here and making this truly special. Now the curtains have come down on SL Chennai Speaks Out Season 2, and it's time to actually say a big thank you to our title sponsor, SL, for actually giving Chennai this platform to speak out. To the Hindu for coming up with those lovely advertisements week after week. To all our panelists, not just on this show, but on all our shows for more than 55 weeks on end. To the audience who've always been very supportive, who've asked the best questions here, have really added value to our shows. To all our viewers, our lifeblood, who've been tuning in every week to watch SL Chennai Speaks Out, also to give us valuable feedback. We've also acted on most of the feedback that we've got so far. And finally, to the team that have actually helped us in putting this together, those who actually work tirelessly behind the scenes. I can't say I'll see you next week, but I'll merely say I'll see you when I see you. Thank you very much.
Varasiddhi Vinayaka, Varasiddhi Vinayaka, Sumukha Varasiddhi Vinayaka, Sumukha Varasiddhi Vinayaka, Sumukha Varasiddhi Vinayaka, Sumukha Varasiddhi Vinayaka.
Are we ready? Thank you.